7th grade is recording. Yes. All right. So this is 4-4. What page is this? This is page 215. I don't think this lesson is going to be too difficult. It's similar to things you've been doing, and actually there's things that you already know. And basically you're expanding, as they said here, you're expanding expressions. So let me give you an expression that's in just algebraic form. If I just had a right here and x right here, minus z right there, if you were to write this in expanded form, you just use the distributive property. A times x is going to be ax, and then a times a negative z is going to be minus a z. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And so I'm going to give you several examples. And let's take a look at this very first one here. I'll be pulling sticks here to see who's paying attention and following along. So the very first one here, we've got a 1.5, and then in parentheses is a b plus 2.5. So Mr. Quaylar, how would I set that up? Well, how would I solve this or expand it?
Wouldn't it be 15b plus 25b?
So this is a 1.5 and this is a 2.5. So go ahead.
1.5b plus 2.5b?
Yeah. So you got the first part, right? It's going to be, I'm going to rewrite this as 1.5b plus, then what am I doing?
2.5b?
Well, when you have a number outside what's in parentheses, you always multiply it by what's inside and everything that's inside.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have your 8th graders today? Anymore?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll have them the last 10 minutes of the day.
Perfect. Can you have them color this the last 10 minutes of the day and have it turned in to the office for the veterans? Amanda apologizes that it's last minute.
You might... 10 minutes is not much time. Okay, I'll see what I can do
Or
here.
whatever class. And then
Yeah. Okay. So, so we're recording here. So, Mr. Quaylar, so what would I do?
1.5 times 2.
Yeah, 1.5 times 2.5. So I'm going to do 2.5, 1.5, multiply those together. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2, quit flipping your pencil. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. I'm going to put a placeholder there. That's supposed to be a 5. Make that a little bit better. And then 1 times 5 is 5, and then 1 times 2 is 2. Now I just add them up straight down. This is going to be 5, this is going to be 7, this is going to be 3. How many decimal places do we have to come into play here? Miss Keith is not here. Miss Vasquez, how many decimal places do we have? 2 decimal places, 1, 2. So I'm going to start right here and go over 1, 2. So it's going to be 1.5b plus 3.75. Okay? Pretty self-explanatory. Mr. Moore, question?
Could you explain it more if you put parentheses, then did 1.5 times 2.5 and then close parentheses?
When they talk about expanded form, I think it's my understanding they would want you to use a distributive property. Okay. So I don't think that would work. All right, good question. Next one, Ms. Colburn. So how would I set this one up right here? So we've got a t, and then in parentheses we've got a negative 1.2 w plus 3.
So you multiply the t?
Times what?
Yeah.
Times what?
The 3, because you can't multiply the negative 1.2 w.
Yeah, actually you can, because we don't know what t is. So I would just rewrite this as a negative 1.2 wt plus, and you had that part right, just simply 3t. Okay? You guys see that?
Yep.
All right. Let's look at the next one. Miss Brewer, how would you set this one up? We've got Now there's not just two things, there's three things in here. Yeah, I know. So just tell me what to do for starters. What's the first step?
Multiply them. Or
So what's outside the parentheses?
1 over 3.
What is it?
1 over 3.
Yeah, so it's a negative 1/3. And what do I multiply that? Okay, so the first is going to be a negative 1/3 times 2. Then it's going to be a negative 1/3 times a negative 3x. And then it's going to be a negative 1/3 times 3. So let's come over here. A negative 1/3 times 2. Okay? Well, you can't multiply whole numbers by a fraction. You have to change it into a fraction. So it's going to be times 2 over 1. And when you multiply fractions, you just go straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 1 is 3. And then one of them is a negative, so that means your answer is going to be a negative. So the very first step is a negative 2/3. Okay? Now, and you guys got to pay attention to the signs here. We have a negative 1/3 being multiplied by a negative 3x. Is the answer going to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Yeah, positive. Whenever you multiply two negatives together, you get a positive. So I could write a negative 1/3. I'm not going to worry about the variable right now. That'll just come into play at the very end. So a negative 1/3 times a negative 3. And I'll just put a negative 3 here, and it's going to be 3 over 1. And 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 1 is 3. They're both negative, so it's a positive, and that equals 1. Now, I'll deal with the x. So it's just going to be plus 1x. I want to point something out to you guys, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Whenever you have a variable by itself, there's always an assumed 1. So somebody might write a negative 2/3, a negative 2/3 plus x. And that's the same thing. They just don't bother with the 1. And as you guys advance in your algebra, you won't put a 1x, you'll just put x. All right, so one more step here. We have a negative 1/3 times 3. You pull a stick here, Miss Daly. So I have a negative 1/3 times 3. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? It's going to be a negative, okay? So I'm going to put a negative 1/3 times 3. What do I do with that 3?
You make it into
Yeah, make it into a fraction. It's going to be 3 over 1. And then so we have a negative 3 over 3. Thank you for doing that. And that's going to be 1, or actually a negative 1. So just minus 1. So all that, and we end up with a negative 2/3 plus x minus 1. Okay? Questions, anybody? Nope. All right. Last one. Mr. Anderson. Oh, and Ms. Daly put up 100 points. Mr. Anderson, what's the first thing I do here?
you would multiply negative 2/5 by 10.
Negative 2/5 by 10. All right, so I'll go over here and I'll do that. So it's a negative 2/5. Okay, I'm multiplying it by 10. What do I do with that 10?
You put 1 under it.
Yeah, to make it into a fraction. What's 2 times 10?
20.
5 times 1 is?
5.
And it's a negative. Now, how many times does 5 go into 20?
Goes into 4 times.
4 times, so I would just write a negative 4. So the very first part is done. I'm going to put a negative 4 right here. All right, nicely done. Put up 100 points. Mr. Proctor, next one. What's the next step I'm going to do here?
Times negative 2/5 by 15. Is that an m?
Yeah, that's an m. Okay, nicely done. So it's a negative 2/5 times 15. And just like before, I'm not even going to worry about the m right now. I'm just going to deal with the 15. And you guys know by now that you need to change it into a fraction. All right, so what's 2 times 15, Mr. Harrison?
30.
Mr. Proctor, rather. What is it, 30? Yeah. And then 5 times 1 is? Okay. How many times does 5 go into 30?
That's 6.
6 times. And then I noticed this was negative, and this is obviously positive. So what's my answer going to be? Negative 6. So I'll just come over here and I'll put negative 6 or minus 6. All right, nicely done, 100 points. Last one, Miss Persinger. What's the last one I do? Yep. So what am I multiplying together here? Yeah, by 20, and that's supposed to be an n. Sorry, it's kind of a sloppy n. So it's a negative 2/5, okay, times, and that's also a negative. So let me ask you this. When we multiply two negatives together, what do we get? Positive. So I'm going to put plus. And so we're done dealing with the signs right now. So now I've got a negative 2/5 times 20. What do I do with that 20 so I can work with it? Yep, make it into a fraction. So I'll just put 20 over 1. Okay. What's 2 times 20? 40. 5 times 1 is?
5.
And then now the question is, how many times does 5 go into 40?
8.
8 times. And since they're both negative, we already put a plus there. So it's going to be 8. But don't forget about the n. I'll just put 8n. So that one is negative 4 minus 6 plus 8n. Question? Yeah, did I make a mistake?
Yeah, because for 6 it's supposed to be an M, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you're right. Oh, nicely done. Put up 2 class points and 100 points for your group. Yeah, they pointed out that I forgot to put in my m right there. So it's a negative 4. Rewrite this. A negative 4 minus 6m plus 8n. Okay? Good job. Thanks for spotting that. Questions on any of these? This is really all you're doing. And what I just did is I went over the examples that they gave you guys. So this was, we did example 1. Look at the bottom of the page to try it, page 216. I went ahead and filled these out for you. What's the expanded form of the expression 3.6? And then in parentheses, t plus 5. Well, it's going to be 3.6t plus 3.6 times 5. And so you have 3.6t plus 18. And so the expanded expression, and I wrote it down there for you, is 3.6t plus 18. All right? And that comes from what I don't know what to call it. This, not a graph, this image here. They give us some dimensions that this is 3.6 and this is t. And this section right here is 5. And so that's how you ended up with 3.6t plus 18. Okay. And then example 2. Again, we did that one. And we did the try it, I think. And then example 3. I think we did that one. And the try it at the bottom of the page. Yep, we just did that one. So turn the page here. This is on page 218. And so number 1, it says, how does the value of an expression change when it's expanded? It doesn't change. It's the same thing. Does not change. Number 2, use structure. It says, how does the subtraction part of the expression change when you have a, and then in parentheses, b minus c is expanded? You subtract the two products instead of one. So the product, that's the answer to a multiplication problem, and you're subtracting them both. So it's going to be a times b minus a times c. And so I just wrote that down as an example. Number 3, When does expanding and simplifying A, in parentheses B plus C, result in a positive value for AC, or A times C? When A and C are both positive, or both are negative. When you've got two numbers that are being multiplied together, both negative, then you'll get a positive. Okay. All right, number 4, do that one. Looks like I might have done that one. I'm not sure. And number 5 and 6, circle those. And then the next page, 7 and 8. I'm just worried about these two boxes on the bottom of each. So just circle those. And then 9, it says, write the expanded form of the expression. Looks like I did number 9. It's going to be y times 0.5 plus y, or plus 8y. So 0.5y plus 8y. Now, since they both have a y, this is important. They're both being multiplied by a y. So we have a 0.5y and a plus 8y. You're not done because they're like terms. You can add those together. So the final answer would be 8.5y. Make sense? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, circle those. Higher order thinking, not worried about that. Number 16, circle that one. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Number 17 here, make note of this. It says find the difference equivalent to the product. 11, and then in parentheses, x minus y. And so it's going the difference, because difference is subtraction. So we expand it first, and you just have 11x minus 11y. Well, unless we know what x and y are, we can't do anything else. That's it. So there's your answer. 11x minus 11y. That's the difference. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then down at the bottom, 22. There's only 2 that you're going to choose. And then 23. Here's your expression. Create an equivalent expression without parentheses. Well, that's just a distributive property. We've been doing that for the past 10 minutes. But simplify it all the way. When you're done, if you have any like terms, combine them. And then write your answer in here. Okay. Questions, anybody? All right, you got plenty of time to work on this in class. I'm going to end the video here.